So it looks like I was wrong again. I don't mind being wrong sometimes, especially in subjects like this. Anyway, cast your minds back to earlier on in the week. I did a video on certain Manchester United Academy players not being ready. One of them being Sekou Koné, obviously being out for 2 months, injured, and still needing to get a bit more, let's just say, match sharpness into his legs, and his injury really put him back down the pecking order when it came to potential academy players training with Manchester United's first team squad. The area of the pitch that we really need investment in and depth in is that holding midfield role. Sekou Koné has come back from his 2-month layoff and gone straight into Manchester United's first team training. Take from that what you want, but that for me is a big positive. I'm going to talk about Koné and what's been said about him in this live show this morning, how he might actually break into Manchester United's first team. It does and will have an impact on the subject that we were talking about last night, which was Kobbie Mainoo. Obviously, I knew that was going to really stir up a few opinions and ruffle a few feathers with what I said about Mainoo. Was just being brutally honest and laying it out there how I see what is happening right now affecting Kobbie Mainoo's future at Manchester United. That video was last night. You can check that out at the end of this show as well. I want to quickly, before we get into it, while we're talking about the academy as well, massive congratulations to James Overy, the Australian academy player at Manchester United, being called up at age 17 into the Australian first team as well. He has gone under the radar, a signing that was made alongside Chido and Koné 2 summers ago. Gone under the radar, has performed regularly for Manchester United in the under-18s, sometimes 21s, and performed very well. He has been called up to international duty first team, so massive congratulations to him as well. The whole outlook, and again, Manchester United's academy, really breath of fresh air. A lot of positive talks around Diego Leon, again featuring in Manchester United's first team training as well. It seems to be a big push. Again, it is really a look on what might happen this January also, and what Manchester United are looking they have got compared to what they are potentially able to get, as in transfers in January. Academy or new players, which way is it going to go? There is a lot to be determined over the next few months, obviously, and if some academy players do manage to break into the first team squad, match day squad, whatever it may be, we may see that determine what happens in January yet. I want to talk about that this morning. We are live. This is Forever United TV. I'm just going to take a breath for a minute there, because every time I do talk about United's Academy, I get excited. But I was wrong. I will start off by saying that. I did the video the other day. I'll never hide away from any of my opinions, as you all know. That's just the way it is. I say it as I see it. I didn't expect Sekou Koné to come straight back in to Manchester United's first team training. He was spotted and pictured in first team training yesterday. And of course, alongside a few other, obviously Jimmy Thwaites was in there as well. Manchester United clearly are just filling numbers up, and this is usually how they would describe why academy players are in and amongst it in Manchester United's first team training. But Manchester United have a fully fit squad. Manchester United, according to Ruben Amorims, have no injury concerns. That's off the press conference yesterday. So if we go back and we listen to what Ruben Amorims says when explaining why certain academy players go into Manchester United's first team training, he says that it's to make up the numbers because there are certain players that aren't back in training yet, that aren't featuring in first team training yet. Everyone's fit and everyone's training, and Sekou Koné's back, and he's back in Man United's first team training. Really positive news. Look, I'm not saying that this means that he's going to play at weekend or anything like that. I do expect him to play in the under-21s first of all and get some minutes in his legs. He did feature off the bench against Notts County the other night. That was a starring role there for many players in Manchester United's side. Obviously, we've seen the we've seen the clips of Shea Lacey. We've seen clips now of Kokonki as well. Godwill Kokonki in that game. Absolute beast of a player that guy is as well. Absolutely brilliant. There is so many academy players coming through right now, and Koné coming on in that game as well is a good sign for Manchester United. He's back in training, back playing for the under-21s, but more importantly, if he is featuring in Man United's if he's featuring in Manchester United's first team training, then clearly Manchester United have a plan there. And like I said, going into this January transfer window, we're all scratching our heads as to how Manchester United might afford player A, player B. Is this an option for us? We've covered all of the angles throughout the week in terms of the news from Romano and Laurie Whitwell and so many other different journalists and people connected with United, that we've also got to look at it realistically and say they are difficult. And we have said that through all of the videos this week. It's difficult to get business done. I would love Elliot Anderson to be in. I said at the time, I think it's a 50-50. Forest finances and what has to happen for United to make this deal. Does Mainu need to leave? Then Elliot Anderson comes in. Will Forest sell him? Is there a financial position? The angle for Manchester United and the way in for Manchester United to actually get that deal done, saving their PSR situation. Are we not going to be able to get them players? That's probably the realism of it all. In terms of United, yes, they're in for him, but it might just be simpler to get them in the summer. So what do we do in the meantime? Do we carry on the season with what we've got? I think we've got just about enough. I'm going to be honest. It's not going to be easy. Can Manchester United make it into the Champions League places with the squad we've got right now? I would err to the side of no on that one. I would say that is probably a bit much of an ask with what we've got right now. Can we get into the Europa League with the squad we've got right now? Yeah, of course we can. I'm more than confident that Manchester United's current squad can get there. It's going to be tight and it's going to be right on the edge. A lot of people have United finishing 8th at the moment in terms of what they think is going to happen. Look, you can say that is a massive improvement. 7 places up the Premier League from last season is big, but I expect more. I'm going to be honest, I really do expect more. How does Sekou Koné featuring and other academy players featuring in first team training help Manchester United in that? Well, it's simply going to be what happens in January. If Manchester United don't manage to get their targets in January, expect to see some academy players in 2026 and the second half of the season. And that's how I look at it right now. I think obviously you've got the FA Cup coming up. Could we see players in that if we get let's just say a lesser team in the third round draw? That's coming up second week of January, so it's not going to be far away. If Manchester United don't sign anybody in January, if Manchester United do release the likes of Xerxes, say Lacey is supposedly coming in, Manchester United need another body in that midfield. Could that be Sekou Koné? Look, both of these players now hitting 19, they both need to be really knocking on the door. This is their season, really, where you would expect to see them in and around Manchester United's first team squad. If an academy player gets to around about 20, then you're thinking, how is he not featured already? Why is he not in Manchester United's first team squad? Manchester United are buying 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds for the first team now. If our academy players are turning 19 and are not knocking on Ruben Amorims' door, then I'm concerned that they're never going to make it. And the fact that Manchester United are out there buying the likes of Heaven, Chido, Yoro, Dorgu, these types of players, like Sesko, has been mainstream and has been playing for Leipzig's first team for years now, and he's only 22. He's only 3 years older than the likes of Lacey and Sekou Koné. That's the level these players need to be at. So if they're not there, they're not really going to make it. And it's really harsh saying that, but that is the reality, and we know this. If you are good, you are being noticed around 16, 17 at least. And that's why I brought up James Overy, 17, international squad for Australia. He's never featured for Manchester United's first team. He's only played in the under-18s at Manchester United. Yes, you could say that, and no disrespect to the Australian national side here as well, but there isn't many household names out there at the moment. I get that, but there has to be a certain age where these players are actually knocking on the door. Otherwise, you're worried that they're never going to make it. That's the point I'm trying to make here in this. And we've seen this before. We know about Jimmy Thwaite, 17. We've known about Shea Lacey for a while. We're expecting to see these players get their opportunity. And then I think it's a case of if they take it. I think Sekou Koné right now, look, you speak to anybody at Manchester United, then they'll all tell you exactly the same thing. He is making real strides. Last season was difficult for him, integration from coming into Manchester United. He didn't play for the start of the season because he was just getting used to Manchester life. There was a thought of putting him out on loan this season as well. They wanted to keep him to give him a second year of getting used to living in England. He has done that. He's scoring goals. He's featuring every single week for the under-21s. He's playing very, very well. That cheekbone injury and fracture at Altrincham earlier on in the season has really hampered his progress in making it potentially to Manchester United's first team. It might have even been closer. We don't know. And obviously, I'm not savvy to what's been said behind the scenes. I can only say what I have been told and what people are saying. And when you look at the likes of Nate Salt, who works, obviously, Daily Mail journalist, who covers Manchester United's academy. Stephen Railsford from the MEN, who covers Manchester United's academy, and in depth, both of them journalists watch every single under-21 game. You're now seeing household journalists like Samuel Luckhurst, like the big-name journalist Simon Stone. Simon Stone, to be fair to him, does go to a few more Manchester United academy games, and they're all going to be talking about Sekou Koné. They're all talking about him. I watched him a few times last year. He was a bit raw last year, but as the season moved on, Sekou Koné started to really make his name in Man United's under-21s and was starting to perform better. More feathers in his cap than what was first thought as well, with his goal scoring. That he picked up a couple of cracking goals last season as well, Sekou Koné, that people don't talk about enough. He has got in his game, but he is a natural holding midfielder. That, I think, is exactly what Manchester United needs. Someone who you know is just going to sit there and do a job there. These are the types of players that Manchester United fans have been asking Man United to find. Can we beat the Brightons, the Brentfords, the Fulhams, all of these teams, the Bournemouths, to these players that they find and sell for mega money? Can we get in while they're young and find these players? Well, now we've got the recruitment team in place. I think this is where we start to really judge the likes of Christopher Vivell and all of his recruitment team under Jason Wilcox as to what they bring through at Manchester United. And I think Sekou Koné could be the first one of significance to break into Man United's first team. And I think there is a great chance for him, an opportunity here, because I think it will be tough. I'll carry on with my hope and hang on to the hope that we are going to get someone like Elliot Anderson or another midfielder in January. Ruben needs backing on that side of it. But if we were to bring Sekou Koné through, and he would be the one that's helped Manchester United see out the rest of this season, and we'll probably be even happier with that than bringing in Elliot Anderson, because I do think that Elliot Anderson will actually still come to Manchester United. I think it might be easier in the summer, but if we could bring in Sekou Koné as well, then that gives United the perfect opportunity to go out and pinpoint two more midfielders in the summer that we desperately need. And if we've got an academy player coming through, helping that squad depth out, it's everything that we've been crying out for. It's the perfect blend of what we wanted this new structure and management team to be like. And this would be the ideal scenario right now. A 19-year-old that we brought in for £1 million from Mali, and turns out to be 2 years, 18 months down the line, a Manchester United first team squad player. And then we go out and buy the best in class that we need to add into that. With everything else we've already done, you're starting to really see Manchester United get it right off the pitch. And it's only going to help the results on the pitch as well. Guaranteed. Because that is something that this football club has not had for a very, very long time now. I want to get into some of the comments. Please pop a like on the video if you're loving the up-to-date content, everybody, and the constant shows coming your way. It is going to be busy. Ruben Amorims has also been speaking about Matthias Cunha and opening up on Brian and Boomo as well. We'll touch on that this show also. So please do get into the comment section, pop a like on the video. Also, make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV for all the constant updates around Manchester United as well. Let's get into some of your comments this morning. I have also, and you would have noticed if you are live with us right now, popped a poll into the live chat asking you your confidence levels going into tomorrow lunchtime's game at Spurs. How confident are you for tomorrow's game, Reds, is the question. Option 1 is very. We are taking all 3 points. Option 2, a bit confident, as I need more convincing. And the third option is not. Spurs have our number, as in not confident. Spurs are going to beat us. 12% of you right now on that poll are saying that Spurs are just going to beat us, and you've given up hope already. 45%, 44% of you between the top two answers right now. We're mixing between very confident and a bit right now for the result tomorrow. I'm still struggling myself. I don't know where I would place myself in that. I'm not very confident. I can't say that. I'm a bit. So I'm with everybody in the middle there with that. And I think that's fair for the game tomorrow. Look, let's get into the comments on Sekou Koné now. And let's talk through what your Well, just tell me in the chat, everybody. Like, look at it. Like, we've just bought in a Roscoe. He's 17, another holding midfielder. If Sekou Koné comes through, Manchester United's summer transfer window could be different. This is the impact that academy players can have if you get the right ones and you build that pathway for them. That, I think, is something that Manchester United have worked overtime on. And don't count out academy players having an impact this season for Manchester United. Honestly, it will transform Manchester United's look on January and potentially into the summer. Don't forget, Orozco arrives in the summer as well, the Colombian 18-year-old central midfielder. Sekou Koné there as well. Manchester United with Jimmy Freights, we have got a lot of holding midfielders coming through our ranks right now that could really bolster Manchester United's squad depth next season. Add to that a couple of household names already and ready-made players like we did in the last summer transfer window. Man United are motoring. We really are. Yes, that's one young and energetic. It can pick up can pick a pass also. Peter Piker picked a pep. Jesus Christ, Adam, I got my P's all mixed up there. But you're right. Sekou Koné is a very good passer of the ball as well. Spirit of Lakota says, memo to Brian, please no cuddling Frank in the tunnel like all the Brentford team in the warm-up. Do it after the game. Focus in the tunnel, everyone. Look, I haven't got a problem with Brian Mbeumo giving Thomas Frank a hug tomorrow. Brian Mbeumo is one of them players that as soon as he walks over the white line, he's switched on. So I've got no concerns about Brian's head and where it's at. It's fully on, taking it to Spurs tomorrow. And if Brian Mbeumo plays well for United, United have got a great chance. Because when Brian plays well, United play well. And I think he is our talisman at the moment. I really do think that he is the shining light for United right now. And I think we have got a few other players that are feeding off his energy as well. So I'm never concerned with the likes of Brian Mbeumo. I think he was brought into United for games like this. Games that you would go in, like what we've said in the chat there in the poll, confidence levels were not high. We don't think that we are going to take the game to Spurs. We don't feel like it is going to be an easy game. We're going to have the same characteristics creep into our game again, and we're going to lose it. We're going to bottle it. We're going to have that meltdown mode, all of that talk. Brian Mbeumo gives you more confidence as a Manchester United fan in going into this type of game, in thinking that with him there, we've always got that chance, even when we're playing bad. Same with Cunha as well. Them characteristics that Ruben talks about are massively important. I hope we can cope with the big boys' physicality. He'll get minutes this season for sure, but next more regularly, I think, on Sekou Koné, says Mane. Adam Koné will be much like Leacher. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, just building up slowly. Look, it doesn't matter. As long as he's there in the matchday squad and can help this first team this season, he isn't going to be the world-beating player this season. I'm hoping that he might get on off the bench and the odd game here and there. Give a few players a rest. Coming off the bench with that energy and something different for Manchester United. Well, we're resting the likes of Casemiro. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of player I'm looking at Sekou Koné to be. Perhaps this season. Maybe. Look, he might not even play. But the more and more he plays with this first team and trains with this first team, the better player he will become. And this first team right now, with the standards and the levels where we're at, we've seen how Manchester United's first team took Diego Leon in the pre-season tour and how they integrated him in and made him feel welcome. It will be the same again. Ruben's built a culture and an environment right now in this Manchester United first team that if a young player comes through, gets an opportunity to feature, then he's going to be made more than welcome. I just don't think that was there before. There were too many egos, there were too many clicks, I feel, and there was too many players with too much to say and entitlement. It was just the wrong environment for Man United Academy players last season, I thought. And I think this season now, I think it's building to a point where we can now start to see a lot of these players come in, feel more comfortable, and perhaps build confidence to get into that Man United first team. I think it's massive for us right now. And I think with what we're talking about with, for instance, Kobbie Mainoo yesterday, and it's crap talking about Mainoo in the way that it's worked out for him at Manchester United, but I think the United fan base always clinged on to our youth as one of the hopeful sort of parts of the football club, giving us a little bit of something to grab hold of and think the future is still bright for this football club. And to feel like there is more youth coming through into our first team, I think it will give hope to the Man United fan base. And as much as it is crap that Kobbie Mainoo is looking for minutes and looking elsewhere, and again, like I said last night, I can't blame him for that. It just shows that Manchester United are building a football environment where you have to hit it. And Ruben Amorims has just done an interview with BN Sports where he said he watched Kobbie Mainoo. He watched Kobbie Mainoo train and feels like he should be playing. Brilliant. But he doesn't want to bring out some of the other players out of the squad that are playing well right now. Now, you will get negative fans that will come out and use that and say, well, Bruno Fernandes was playing bad earlier on in the season and he wasn't brought out. And again, I argued the point last night on that, which was that Bruno Fernandes probably deserves a little bit of time to find form because he's been the one that's been holding his team together for so many bleeding years. But I'll also go back to Kobbie Mainoo getting a start against a Grimsby side and completely, alongside everyone else, and including Manuel Ugarte in this, completely crapped the bed. And until Bruno came on in the second half and we dominated and brought it back to 2-2, the game was gone. The game was dead. So, yeah, I've said this all along. Like, it's all right. I think the attitude of Kobbie Mainoo is fantastic. And that, I think, shows what I've just said there is happening. That the culture and the environment now at United at Carrington has completely changed. And even if you're not getting game time, players are still part of something and feel part of something. And we're just struggling because we haven't got enough games to play everybody. And I get that. Manchester United didn't need as big a squad this season because we were in Europe. We should have been in the Champions League this season. And then I think Manchester United, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of Kobbie Mainoo. I think we'll be seeing a lot more of some of the academy players as well. I really do. Zirkzee would have featured a lot more. And I think we would have been in a completely different scenario right now and we wouldn't even be talking about Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee leaving. But the academy players, I think, are where Manchester United might need to go to because of this situation. Zirkzee and Mainoo need minutes. I can't blame them for wanting to move. Can't blame them for wanting a loan move and hoping that something changes in the summer. Maybe Kobbie Mainoo comes back because Manchester United need more squad depth because we're in Europe in the summer. That's all I'm holding out for Kobbie's future at Manchester United. Because if we don't get into Europe, I don't see Kobbie Mainoo playing for Manchester United again. That's harsh, isn't it? But academy players are not as bothered at this point, and they can be used. And if they take their opportunity in them positions, see, Man United are handpicking each player from the academy to fit what's necessary and what's needed right now. Household names like Mainoo and Zirkzee need minutes. They're full-on international players, and they need to play now. If they're not there, then I think United can bring in the likes of Lacey, the likes of Koné to fill them two spaces. If they both want to go out on loan, Koné, Lacey, in you come. Jimmy Thwaites, maybe, potentially, in you come. And Manchester United there, I've got two players that probably aren't going to feature that much, but aren't as much of a problem because they're not full international players. They're academy players waiting for that opportunity that can chop and change between under-21s and Man United starting 11, so first team squad, and then feature as and when. I think that, again, isn't too bad a scenario for Manchester United. I think that's where the club are leaning right now, as I see it developing anyway. But again, that is just how I see it. Get some more comments in, please, everybody. Thank you for all the likes already, everybody. Keep them coming in. And let me know your thoughts on everything. Get into the live comment section as well. Going to go in there now. Mainoo ain't good enough. I'm sick of talking about him. Just needs selling. Has never going to play under Amorims, says Cal. It is one of the reasons I like Ahmad so much. All those brats around him with such a lazy and shallow attitude. He refused to go down that road when the culture was so poor. The right mentality. This is why Amorims gave Ahmad his contract extension. Ahmad is the only player since Ruben Amorims has arrived to have any contract extension at Manchester United. One player so far in 1 year of Ruben Amorims, and the amount of players that have actually come up to their last year now and are looking into the last 2 years potentially under Amad. Like, for just Amad to have that contract extension out of every other player in the same situation shows you the character of Amad, and I think he's an absolute gem. I really do. I love Amad. Even when he's been bad this year, you were confident that he would come back. I remember saying with Amad, like, so many times, start of the season, he's just not doing it. It's not, what's up with him? Why is it so bad? But then again, he's had a lot of bad news off the pitch as well. Obviously, family bereavements and things like this. There's been a lot going on that's affected him. But he's come back stronger from that. And that shows you that you have got a mentality monster there in Amad. I feel like he's going to be an absolute legend at Manchester United if he continues on his current trajectory. I think he's going to be an absolute diamond. And I love that combination between him and Bryan Mbeumo. That is one that I think every Man United fan is excited about right now. But good point on that, Stephen. Thanks for yours as well, Carl, in there, matey. Bruno has been breaking this team apart for years. Ruben has forced him to change. Just sell Bruno, please. Disagree with that, Kieran. I don't think he has at all. I do agree that Manchester United can't continue with Bruno into the future, but for people to use Bruno as to why Manchester United are so bad and have been bad, I think isn't right. I really don't. Look, again, I've said this all the time. I'm not going to delete you or block you for having an opinion on it. Everyone has got their own opinions on it. I can see part of why people are angry with Bruno Fernandes. But then again, you've got to just look at the managers that keep on playing him. It's not really Bruno's fault. It's the managers. And if Amorim gets more out of Bruno in a system, then you've got to give full credit to Ruben Amorims for being the first one to really harness that Bruno energy. And we're seeing little bits and we're seeing signs of Bruno keeping it simple and not going as Hollywood with a lot of his play. I think the last 4 games in particular, and you could say that's coincidental and you're just saying that because Man United have got some decent results. But look at the game. We played Brighton and Bruno Fernandes didn't have 1 assist or any involvement. Well, he had involvement in goals, but no direct assist or goal. 4 goals scored. United are changing. And people will always want to dig out certain players that they haven't liked in the past because of the way that they were playing then and where we are now. And that's the reason why we are where we are now. I just look at what Ruben is building here and where it looked like it was just going completely wrong and no one understood what was going on. The reality was Ruben also saw what we were watching and changed it and tweaked it. And I think certain players have thrived in that change. The likes of Benjamin Sesko, Bryan Mbeumo, Cunha, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, they have all thrived. Even Casemiro in this change and this little more direct style of play that we've now gone down. I think it's throwing teams off. I think it's giving United options to play out from the back because everybody's dropping deep. And I think Bruno has actually, benefited from it more. Whether it continues, we will see, won't we? Obviously, it's only 4 games. Obviously, Senna Lamin's 4 games in, still not lost for Manchester United. That is big also and has made a big difference. But I'm not going to have a go at Bruno Fernandes for what he's done in the past and use it as an excuse to where we are now, as to why we are where we are now. I think that is unfair. But look, I get why people are saying it, but I just say, like, you can only say what's in front of you and what you see. And I think Bruno has been good the last 4 games. And this is the point I was making last night. Like, if you were going to ask me who was going to play, Bruno or Mainu, I'm still going to pick Bruno Fernandes every single day of the week. If Bruno's a little bit off, then I would still, out of the 2 players, pick Bruno because I know he's got the legs. I know he's got the mentality. Mainu will get there, but at the moment, needs must. And Bruno performs better than what Kobbie Mainu does. And he has shown that last season and so far at the start of this season. I know we could argue that Kobbie's not had the right amount of game time to prove that, and it's right, he hasn't. And it is slightly unfair. And when Bruno wasn't playing well, maybe we should have seen more of Kobbie Mainu. I get that argument completely. But I said it, and I think my explanation for Bruno playing over Mainu when he wasn't playing well was that Bruno has probably earned the opportunity to find his form under Ruben Amorims, because last season he was one player that did actually hold up standards. So, yeah, that was it. I know a lot of people would still not agree with me on that one. But hey, look, it's all debate, isn't it? And it is what we're here for. We're here to talk football, and we're here to get different opinions in. Good news again on Lenny Yoro also making the under-21s for France. Amazing, isn't it? Like, looking at these players and how young they are going out on international duty for Manchester United. The tide is turning, people. It really is. And we are looking at a much better atmosphere around Manchester United and future. Another super chat in from Manny also says 2-1 United and Mbumo and Bruno. Bruno and Mbumo for the goals tomorrow against Spurs. If you want to drop your predictions in for the game, we'll be talking more about this probably later on when I do my prediction and drop my predicted starting 11 again. We'll talk about that later on this evening. But above all else, I feel like United are in a better place to take on Spurs. And I'm still scared at the same time. Like, you know where I'm at right now. I think a lot of Man United fans have definitely are 100% in a similar position to where I am right now, with feeling okay going into this game, but still feeling that concern side of things. Yeah. Oh, come on, United. That's all I'm saying. Please send me into the international break a happy man. That's all I'm saying. Don't forget, we are live tomorrow. The watch along is happening tomorrow, everybody. We're going to be live quite early, so make sure that you have hit that subscribe button so you know when the notifications are coming on, when the videos are starting, the live shows are starting. Join us tomorrow for the watch along against Spurs. It's going to be a nervy one, I think, tomorrow. A nervy one. Excited still, though, to say the least. He'll bring the glory days again. We'll back him from the Stretford end. It says Gems getting right behind Ruben there. The problem wasn't playing the likes of Rashford and Bruno. It was revolving the whole team around them and they being undroppable. Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer started that. I mean, he built a team around Bruno Fernandes, and that was a counter-attacking side which really suited Rashford and Bruno. The best that we've seen of both of them players has been under Ole. I don't care what anybody says. Bruno has been consistent for Ten Hag. I get it. But Bruno under Ole and Rashford under Ole, them two were thriving in that counter-attacking style football for Man United. It suited them so much more than Ruben's and Ten Hag systems. But again, look, we wasn't really going anywhere with Ole in the end. And we built a quick fix system that wasn't sustainable and was easy to figure out, and that's what them types of managers have come unstuck with. It was too easy to play against. Now Manchester United, after a shaky start this season with Ruben Amorims, don't get me wrong, like, Ruben's got it wrong quite a lot, but he's adapted. He's adapted his system. And I said this just a moment ago, now you don't know how to play. Well, you can adapt to how United are playing, but you don't know what's coming. You could go direct, so they drop off. If they drop off, we can play out from the back now. And we did that against Forest, and we did it well in parts. There were some passing moves on Saturday that were absolutely delightful to watch, but we just didn't have an end product. And decision-making in the final third let us down against Nottingham Forest. We've seen it before. Brighton tried to adapt to how we were playing. They then had to drop deeper and gave United space to build up from the back. We were able to press higher because the ball is going direct and there is less danger. There's different ways now for United to go into these matches, and teams are struggling to, well, not struggle, but they're finding it more difficult to figure United out, I feel. And you can see this in games, and it's helping Manchester United build confidence. It got us to a point against Nottingham Forest where we had that meltdown. We had a 5-minute spell where we blew it. But then we had the confidence that we could get back in the game. And Ruben nailed it with what he said. Like, last season, you could feel us losing that game and we wasn't going to win it. But we definitely, at that point, felt like we wasn't going to lose it like we did last season. Like, he was saying, if that happened last season, we lose that game. This season, we felt we wasn't going to lose it. Yeah, we might not win, but we wasn't going to come out of that game with a defeat. We always had the character in our side to go on and win or get something from that game, and we did in the end. And I think this has been built in what's come into Manchester United's team, and I think there is a big I think there is an air of confidence in United's squad now that they're always going to be, I think, what's the word I'm looking for now? They're always going to be combative. They're always going to be capable of competing. And it's not just going to be a complete fall-off and meltdown for Manchester United now. That's the difference. Bruno is without doubt, I think that's supposed to say there, the best player since he walked through the door of Carrington. And if we had not come to United, you would be watching us in the Championship, says Gary. Big defence of Bruno Fernandes there from Gary. I've been shouting up Sarr from Palace in recent weeks. Another 2 goals from him last night. Look, there is plenty of talent out there for Manchester United to go into. I think going into the January transfer window, difficult. We've spoken about that. I still think there's a chance in January, by the way. I really do. And we're going to be all over that this month. When January comes around. But I think the summer is going to be a blockbuster for Man United. And if we can get European football, yes, indeed, let's have it. Because that will definitely give Manchester United a massive opportunity. The foundation has been laid this season and in pre-season, in the actual training sessions, over this last few months of the season since it started. Ruben Amorims has been very open and talking about this, and he mentioned it in his interview with BN Sports yesterday. That clip has been released that he feels like he has really utilised every single minute available to him to get Manchester United to an understanding level, the team to an understanding level of what he wants from them. Now, when you bring players into this, you've got a team that knows what it needs to do. And when you've got a team that's already playing well in a system, it's easy for them to help players coming in adapt to that system as well. Whereas the start of the season, last season, it was just a car crash, carnage everywhere because you're trying to bring in a brand new system. You're trying to figure out what players' mentalities are. You're trying to figure out who has got the capabilities and characteristics to deal with the pressure of this as well. 8 months of hell for Manchester United fans. It didn't start off well this season either, although we did see better football even in defeats in certain games. But now he feels with these extra training sessions, we are where we need to be. And look, United cannot survive on playing 1 game a week. And I think Ruben also knows this. I mean, he's not stupid. But when you look at United now, if this team knows exactly what Ruben wants and have properly utilised their time in understanding this system with these weeks off that they're getting and the full recoveries that they're getting, and come next season when it's 2 or 3 games a week, they don't need constant training sessions. It's embedded into their head exactly what they need to do. So they can just go to training in them certain days where they can train without resting because we've got 2 games a week. And they already know. The foundation has been laid this season. And this was the perfect opportunity. And I think what Ruben said last year, in that it's probably good that we're not in Europe. You can't say that as a Man United manager. It's ridiculous. And I'll still hold that against him. But I think in his head, he's thinking, this is what he needed. This is what he needed. He needed the time with the players to implement what he wanted. He wanted to get it cemented into their heads like a muscle memory thing where they can just go into training sessions and know exactly what's coming and how to be and how to act and adapt to anything that Ruben tells them to do. And then when they go into next season now, they're ready to attack Europe because they don't need as much training. They just have to learn certain things about certain oppositions. And with that there and that muscle memory there, it's easier. And then when players come in, it's easier for them to adapt because you've got players that are also understanding the changed nature of Manchester United and the philosophy changes with different managers coming in. In a way, I'm never going to back Marcus Rashford after what he did at Manchester United, but his comments about Manchester United constantly changing all of the time, the process is never being the same and it's always changing, it's not a good environment. Look, there's an element of that that's right because it is hard for new players to come in. It's hard for the current squad to adapt to different systems. But this is the first time in over a decade that Manchester United have had time in season to learn a proper system. And the expectation levels aren't there because United are not playing 2 games a week. We're not putting pressure on Man United on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to win a game because we're not in that competition. And all the players are doing is grinding, working, and getting used to what Ruben Amorims wants. So every time a Saturday or a Sunday comes, a weekend, or a Monday or a Thursday with the fixtures that the Premier League have given us recently, let's not forget that, then they're ready to go. And it does bring an element of expectation because you're saying, well, if you've had all week to prepare for this opposition coming at weekend, then you should be 100% ready to go. And if they do underperform, I think the scrutiny is right. And I think that's what we had at the start of the season. United fans couldn't grasp how you could have a full week preparing to play Brentford, knowing exactly what's coming, and get battered like that. That is a massive concern. And the turnaround from that game is what we're seeing. That was the reality kick that Ruben Amorims needed. Right, I need to change. I need to change the way that Manchester United are approaching my system. Not changing the system, but approaching it, tweaking it. And he has changed. Every other manager talking about Ruben has noticed what Manchester United are doing. Like, it's clear for everyone to see. He has changed. And I think it was Brentford that made it all sink in with him. And he realised what he had in his squad, I think. And I think he's adapted everything to fit what he's got. And I think they are grasping it now. And we're seeing subtle little bits of confidence creep into other players' games as well. There's players in this team right now that I just didn't think were going to survive. I honestly didn't. So I was looking at the likes of Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Casemiro, these type of players at Man United. I was like, I really don't see them surviving. But key parts of Ruben Amorims' squad right now. Massive. The fact that we've been able to have Mason Mount resting properly and recovering properly on the bench for the last 2 weeks shows you where we're at squad-wise. And yet, there is a big part of this. Having the extra rest time is why we've got no injuries. But again, Manchester United right now, I think, are in a very, very comfortable position injury-wise. And I think it is helping us. It is helping us. Let's get some more comments in, everybody. I can see the debate going strong in here. And loads of people, loads of people talking, debating. I can see it is amicable. And it is, let's just say, nice. I don't want people falling out all the time. And please be respectful. If you don't agree with somebody in the chat, obviously, that is their opinion. You've got yours. We don't need to be abusive or anything like that. That is not what this community is, everybody. And I don't really see many people being blocked by the mods or deleted because they've made an abusive comment or been over the top. And it's great to see, everybody. So keep it coming, everybody. Graham there saying that he's on his way to Spurs tomorrow. Good luck to that, Graham. That's an early start for you, my friend. Anybody else going to the game tomorrow? Anybody else on their way down to London? Or any London Reds in the chats that are already there? Looking forward to it. I hate 12 o'clock, 12:30 kickoffs, by the way. I think someone did mention it in last night's show that I'm not confident just simply because it's an 12:30 kickoff. You're right. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the last time Man United won an away 12:30 kickoff was Southampton last season, September-ish time. We beat them 3-0. Andre Onana saved a penalty. I know. That would have been a mad one, wouldn't it? But I'm pretty certain that was the last 12:30 Man United won. So over a year ago. You know what? When you say, like, law of averages, it is all going to change. We're going to break the hoodoo with Spurs. We're going to break the 12:30 kickoff hoodoo as well. And we're going to get over it finally. I just think that's going to happen tomorrow. That's what I'm manifesting in my head anyway. And that's what I think is going to be the outcome anyway. Carl is in Manchester tomorrow. Love that, matey. I'm at 40th tonight as well, so I'm going to have to watch what I do because it's going to be an early start tomorrow. Can Manchester United... What's the right way of putting this now? Can Manchester United help the hangover? Or are they going to make it worse? Are they going to compound it? Oh, that is the question, I feel. Obviously, on that interview that Ruben did with BN Sports. By the way, everybody, the embargo version of the press conference will be released tonight. I won't be bringing it tonight because it's at 10:30. So tomorrow morning, early doors, 8 o'clock, we will be doing the embargoed version of Ruben Amorims' press conference. So get yourselves set for that one. There is always better quotes in the embargoed version. Still, like I said yesterday when we did the first part of the presser, I don't get why that is happening now. Maybe it's the hard-hitting stuff comes later on at night and not many people are going to react to it. I don't know. But in that interview with BN Sports, by the way, like I just said then, Ruben Amorims was opening up about the maverick that is Matthias Cunha and the confidence that he's got in Bryan Mbeumo. All the interviews that he's doing right now, the talk has been around the recruitment, the players that have come in, the difference makers, and them two alone. I think we do need to make a show about just Bryan Mbeumo and Matthias Cunha and what they have done to Manchester United. Like, they deserve all of the plaudits that they get them to for what they've done so far. Let's not forget, there's a long way to go this season, and we're all hoping that they continue this form right now. But yes, I do believe they deserve praise for their impact, but what did we expect? Manchester United went into the summer transfer window with a clear plan as to get in plug and play, quote, Jason Wilcox. By the way, I was in a garden centre yesterday and Jason Wilcox walked past me. I asked him what was going on. I've got loads of insight. No, I've not. I didn't ask him, but I just left him to his day off. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. There's Jason. I couldn't believe it. Just like I didn't think he had a day off today. But hey, anyway, yeah, the clear plug and play players that Manchester United needed. I have to say, like, what did we expect really as a Man United fan base? I expected these two players to be playing the way that they are. They are that good. And it just goes to show you, doesn't it? If you go out and get the right player, then you're never really concerned, are you, with transfers? The unknown stuff from what Man United have done previous years is always going to haunt us in terms of certain players. But I think someone like Elliot Anderson coming in, if I've got a system there, it's in play, you've got Sekou, Mbeumo and Cunha, then I've got Elliot Anderson and Bruno Fernandes behind them. I know we're not going to bring in a left-sided wing back according to Andy Mitten at the moment, but Ahmad there on the right. Look, you never know looking at it. I mentioned it last night. Harry Amas could come back next season from Sheffield Wednesday. He's smashing it over there right now in Sheffield. You've got Diego Leon again that could feature going into the start of next season. He needs a bit more time yet, like Travis Binion has said. He needs a few more games, but he is featuring a little bit more in training and he will get better. I feel like these players are going to get better at Manchester United right now. Whereas before we've seen United players regress, I feel like players are actually performing better. Not everyone, but we are getting some better performances, I feel, from United players now. And I hope that is going to be the case with these younger players that we spoke about as well. Adam, what did you think of Inside Carrington as a programme? I like it. I like to see more interviews. This is the new MUTV podcast, which is going on now on MUTV. Don't get me wrong, I would prefer to be watching under 18s and under 21 football MUTV. I think that's better and what the fans really want to be watching rather than interviews. The odd interview here and there would be good. I've seen the Harry Maguire one where he's been interviewed by his sister as well. It's all nicey stuff, isn't it? I'd rather be watching the Academy, I'm going to be honest. I like the idea of it. Every now and then, I don't want it to be rammed down my throat constantly, week in, week out. I don't think we need to hear too much from Manchester United's hierarchy and what's going on. I think we've got a general grasp as to what the project is now and what Manchester United want and what they're aiming for. I would rather see what this is actually developing in the Academy, personally. And that's why I don't subscribe to MUTV anymore. But that's why I did back way when, because it had fantastic coverage of Manchester United's Academy. And I love watching the Academy players. So I think that's where MUTV need to go back to. Forget about the interviews. I'm not bothered. Like I said, the odd one here and there, but bring back the Academy football. Let's see what else we have got in here. Let's see some more comments coming in, everybody. People talking about Dalot again. Is he going to change it against Spurs tomorrow, or do you think he's going to play Dalot, everybody? I think he's going to play him in here. I'll do my prediction predicted lineup and whatnot later on for this evening. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I am. I just don't like the early kickoff factor again. It kind of ruins. So if United don't win, oh God, it kills the weekend, doesn't it? It's so annoying if United don't win on early kickoff. And this is the concern because we haven't done well in early kickoffs before. I'm scared that the weekend's going to be ruined, and then I've got to sit on that for 2 weeks on international duty. That will kill me. It will. Honestly, that will absolutely infuriate me. And again, just throwing United into 2 tough away games right before international break. It's like they're trying to force the issue, isn't it? The media and the Premier League. It's like United could be going into the international break off the back of defeats. I'm sure they plan it out because Sky Sports do pay everybody all of the money and the broadcasting money and everything like that. They're the ones who predict when the teams are playing each other. And I just look at that and I go, right, what do they need on international break? They need a bit of a Man United meltdown, don't they? And so let's put them up against Spurs, who beat them 4 times last season, just before the international break. And the international break, where managers are always fired. So they're thinking ahead, and they're planning on a Man United meltdown going into this international break. I'm telling you, this is what they will be thinking. It seems a bit far out, doesn't it? But hear me out on it. That's what they need. So they've got something to talk about for 2 weeks. But luckily for us, Manchester United are in good form. And we know, even if United lose tomorrow, that Ruben's not going to lose his job. I think he's safe now. And as long as he stays within touching distance of European places, he's going nowhere. So I'm confident that that is going to keep throughout the season now. And we are going to see United, even if we're hovering in about 8th or 9th, if we're still in with points of getting into the Europa League, Ruben's safe. I think that's where we're at. This was the aim for this season, get back into Europe. So Europa League football is what is going to be Manchester United's staple going into next season. And I think right now, no one expected Manchester United to be where they are. And a win tomorrow, whoa, that will really upset the apple cart with the old broadcasters and what their plans are for the next 2 weeks over international, because you're going to have nothing to talk about. Nothing at all to talk about. So, yeah, I have actually got some exciting stuff coming up myself. A couple of different shows on other channels and other platforms as well that I'll keep you all posted about. An interesting one coming up. I can't say just yet. I'm not allowed to say just yet. But I have got something coming up as well on the Finalysis app that I'm part of with Sky Sports and the new platform with all of the fans from around the Premier League. That's coming up as well. So, yeah, plenty to do and plenty of shows coming, as well as everything here on Forever United TV and Football Talks, everybody. So make sure that you do, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, pop a like on this video. They are both completely free and the most important parts of growing this community, everybody. It helps YouTube push it out elsewhere. It helps grow our community here. Joining with the journey here on Forever United TV, everybody. Make sure you share the videos as well. Get involved in the comments section. That is all we're asking. All of the free stuff. Get involved in the comments, share, like, subscribe to the channel. And again, a massive thank you to you all who have already done that. And that is it for this morning, everyone. Thank you so much. That went really quick. How the hell have we got to that time already? But I will be back later on, obviously, with my look ahead to the game in depth. And, of course, I will be covering all news that drop throughout the day if there is any as well. Stay tuned for that. And I will see you all later on. Have a fantastic